I'm Bruce DePoy. Coming up, the first day of the new school year is fast approaching in Prince George's County. In fact, students return to the classroom tomorrow. Coming up for you this time, a one-on-one with the county's top educator, school CEO Dr. Kevin Maxwell. Your calls included. Later in the show, the unusual makeup of the voter coalition that has propelled Donald Trump to the front of the pack among Republicans seeking the White House in 2016. Why he may not be the flash in the pan that most people expected. Also, it appears Joe Biden is seriously considering a challenge to Hillary Clinton. Talks with top associates intensifying as Clinton struggles to put her email controversy behind her. We'll discuss these topics with University of Mary Washington political science professor Dr. Stephen Farnsworth.
From News Channel 8, this is News Talk with Bruce DePoy.
So good to have you with us on this Monday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for making us part of your day. The start of the new school year is upon us, and that means school systems and families are busy getting ready. As part of our coverage of the first day of class, we're talking with top educators from around the region. Friday, you may recall, D.C. Chancellor Kaya Henderson was here. It's a conversation you can find online later at news8newstalk.com. Today, we welcome the man who runs the Prince George's County School System, CEO Kevin Maxwell. It's good to have you back. Thanks very much for your time this time.
It's great to be back.
A busy time. What have you and your team been doing, particularly in the last few weeks, to make sure that, and I know you've got this transition, which is kind of a neat thing for, I think, 6th and 7th graders, and we'll talk about that. But as you approach the beginning of the new school year broadly, for what is a huge system that has big goals, what have you been up to?
So, we passed on to the board, and they approved our strategic plan last spring, and I think that's a pretty significant piece for us. And so, we've been going through the normal getting ready for the school year things, but beginning the first week in August, we had a several-day leadership program for our principal, senior staff, executive team, and everything, to make sure we're all on the sort of the same sheet of music and understand exactly what the expectations are for the implementation of that plan, which focuses on literacy and improving student outcomes. And then the following week, we had our new teacher orientation, and again, trying to deliver those messages. Here's the things that we're working on, the things we want you to be aware of and to be focused on in your work. And then, of course, teachers came back this past week and students this week. So it's been a very, very hectic month, but I think we're ready. We've been practicing bus routes. I know that's always a big thing at the beginning of the year, and making sure our schedules are completed and doing our last-minute hiring.
How confident are you that the transportation piece will fall into place? Maybe not perfect, because few things in life are, but without the sort of widespread issues that we have experienced in the past.
Yeah, so the last time that there was a big issue with transportation was before I arrived, and I'm starting my 3rd year. The last 2 years, they've gone very, very well. Our chief operating officer, our head of transportation, they're all working diligently. We do set up every year a hotline for our parents if there are issues, if buses are late, and sometimes they are. People don't show up on time and buses get a little behind. And of course, as the traffic ramps up with everybody coming back to school,
absolutely, some of
the timing changes. But I'm confident that we're not going to have the big debacle that happened again 3 or 4 years ago.
What does I know for students, the start of school means the end of summer, so it may be bittersweet. What does it mean for you, for your team, from an educational perspective, that new beginning and that opportunity to move the county forward and to improve classroom achievement and do all the things that I know are front of mind for you 24/7?
Sure. So what it means to me and my team is I think the opportunity for us is great, and we have a lot to show, a lot to prove, a lot to make happen for kids. I've been doing this for decades now, and I will tell you that the first week of school, the first day of school, always brings a certain air of excitement and hope. And while hope isn't something we want to hang our hat on, it's that hopefulness of we're going to do great things this year. We're going to make things happen. We're going to help kids be more successful. We're going to work with faculty. And I just think that, for me, new beginning that you mentioned is really, it's a little like New Year's in a different, time frame. It's, what kind of resolution are we going to make? What are we going to learn from the past, and how are we going to move forward?
And what sort of habits can you start now and sustain rather than have them be short-term? And I don't just mean for you or your team, but for families, for kids. It's a chance to do some things right and have them become sort of automatic or part of life.
Absolutely, and we've been working with all of our partners from the PTA to community groups, and we've had meetings all summer. I was just at a program yesterday that Curtis Valentine, one of our board members, has been doing with parents and with fathers in particular, and helping encourage them to be engaged in their children's lives, and with male educators as well. It is important for us to try to create that networking opportunity that keeps those folks around. So it was really great to see so many fathers and young men around yesterday.
Phone lines open as we talk with the top educator in Prince George's County, school CEO Kevin Maxwell. If you're a parent or grandparent or anybody, taxpayer with a question or comment, or a staff member with a question, comment, or suggestion for Dr. Maxwell, I hope you'll join the conversation. We're able to take calls in the 10 o'clock hour. So if that's when you're watching, you want to join in, do so, please, at 703-387-1020. Again, 703-387-1020. That's our number. Go to the phones now. Grab an open line. We'll go to the phones as your questions and comments come in. I know that sometimes good people will leave. Maybe they'll get a better offer somewhere else, and they'll take advantage of that opportunity. You'll then hire a replacement. Can every parent and every kid expect a qualified permanent teacher in every classroom?
So I'm not confident that we have 100% of our classrooms covered today. I know we were still doing hiring last week, but if it isn't a full-time, fully certified teacher, we will have competent, capable substitutes. We do when we have openings, we look first to retired folks that we can pull in and rehire, and the same thing is true for principals. We have kind of a cadre of folks that have retired in the last couple of years and are willing to give us a few weeks here or a month there and help us out. So if I don't have a permanent staff member ready for tomorrow, I will say I think our numbers have been better this year. We've been working very hard. We've reorganized our human resources department, and we've enhanced our recruiting opportunities. And there were about 850 brand new teachers at our new teacher orientation week before.
That sounds like a lot to absorb.
So we have about 20,000 employees altogether in Prince George's County, and well over half of them are teachers. So it represents less than 10% of our teaching force. And when you look at retirements and moving, there's a lot of military and government presence in the work, and there's sort of a natural cycle there. So I'd say it's not unusual. I'd certainly like it to be less than half of that, but we see that as a fairly typical need.
When you and the executive put forward a plan to really boost educational spending, with the idea being of moving the county into the top 10 or the top 15 in Maryland, which seems to be both a heavy lift but also a very achievable goal given the potential of who you've got to work with, staff and families in Prince George's County. When that was at the end of the day not something the council could sign on to, how did you then go back to your staff and not have, because they read the paper, they watch the news, how did you go back to them and not convey disappointment or anything negative, but to try to say, okay, this didn't work the way we wanted it to, but we still have important work to do.
Right. So I think there are a couple pieces there. One, we were talking about our promise of 2020, and we sort of dropped the deadline because without the investment that we asked for, I can't. I don't want to hold my principals and teachers, nor do I want to be held accountable for reaching goals that don't have the investment and support that they need. The other half of that, though, is that we do believe that it's the right work, and we need to stay focused on that work. And without all of the resources that we ask for, it doesn't mean we can't still be engaged in the work, just at a different level and in a different way. What we've been trying to convey to our leadership, again at our leadership conference, with principals and senior leadership, is you know, we can't wait for everybody to sign on. We have a job to do, and we need to work really hard to show people that we're competent and capable of achieving the work. And while, again, it may not be as fast as we would like it to be, we can still make achievements. We can still make gains. I challenge our principals and our other folks to you know, not look and wait and not worry about what other people are doing, but worry about what we're doing and what we can control. And what we have been saying is, you know, it's no excuses, no blame. We just want people to get the work done, and we're going to roll up our sleeves together, and we're going to make it happen for kids.
School starts in Prince George's in a 2-day manner,
right.
Because you want some students to have a day with a smaller, maybe less chaotic. Probably not the word you would choose, but for kids who are, say, freshmen in high school, for them to be able to get in one day ahead of everyone else, you've identified that as a plus.
Right. I think, yeah, chaotic might not be the right word. Maybe anxiety is the right word for both parents and for students. So we have a brand new 9th grader going into high school. We have kids going into middle school for the first time. We all know how it is when our kids go to kindergarten for the first time, pre-kindergarten. And so giving them a day where the whole 2,000 kids in this high school aren't there, but it's just the, you know, 800 or 900, you know, freshmen, just gives them an opportunity to sort of get a feel for the layout of the school. Where are my classes? Where are my lockers? You know, where's the lunchroom? What time is lunch? What time is dismissal? Just making sure that they have that. We think it's very helpful to them to have that opportunity to sort of be coddled a little bit on the first day.
Talking with Prince George's School CEO Kevin Maxwell. A break here. Back, though, with much more News Talk for a Monday right after this.